What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, and back with some more Kim Wilde, as well as a Wild Luca who has entered the proverbial chat. Are you coming up? Thinking about it? Well, I guess she'll decide at some point on her own time schedule. But yes, once again, shout out to Mark. We're going through Kim's 1981 self-titled album. And the next tune is You'll Never Be So Wrong, which suggests that there is some mistake in perception or understanding, at least as the speaker sees it. And perhaps there's a suggestion of a longer timeline, because you're saying you'll never be so wrong in the future at some other point. No matter how wrong you may be in the future, you'll never be so wrong as now, or maybe you were before. I suppose it could be something that's happened in the past, but yeah, it suggests again a distinction between reality and someone else's perception or conclusion. And I suppose whether you're talking more scientifically or more psycho-emotionally and personally, draw conclusions based upon perceptions and observations. So yeah, I wonder what this other person is wrong about, whether they are really wrong. Of course, there's songs with unreliable narrators, meaning someone is telling you something as if they're just imparting a story, but then when you read between the lines, the suspect nature of their testimony or account becomes clear. So let's see what it is, or what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Kim Wilde. The track is You'll Never Be So Wrong, and it's from her 1981 self-titled album. that double kick. So yeah, a really interesting tune sonically. It's, it has a bit of that 80s pop feel, but almost like this, maybe not country, maybe not like frontier rock, but it just has a bit of that like rustic sound to it, which is funny because it sounds like it starts in a city cafe. And yeah, ultimately there was that tension string running through a lot of the track that was really standing out to me. The echoes, not only Kim's voice echoing in the chorus, but even the guitar sounded like it was a bit in this big open space and, was sort of bouncing around the sonic sphere. And yeah, so lyrically, what I think I'm catching is that this is like a third party commenting to a girl who's upset, seemingly that some guy is leaving her life, getting in a car and driving away. I was almost seeing it like, he's off on the sea where you like see the ship sort of disappear below the horizon with the mast disappearing last, but in car, like road form. Either way, it sounds like this other person is consoling her, but also like telling her to snap out of it, that like, you're feeling upset, you're feeling sad or crying about this, but you'll never be so wrong for a long time. Like, you need to recognize that you're free now, that this is actually better, and that you have your life ahead of you now. And perhaps, over the next several years or the next long while, you'll recognize that, and during that time, you'll probably never be so wrong again as you are right now for feeling the way you do about the dissolution of this relationship. So maybe I'm missing a key element, maybe, a line or two didn't click with me where I would then realize it's a different story or a larger story. But yeah, what I took away from it is a breakup that one person is taking very hardly, or not hardly, but in a very difficult way. But this other observer, the narrator, is saying, you need to turn your mind around on this and recognize that this is actually a good thing. And the way you're feeling right now, you'll never be so wrong. So yeah, she was talking about into the future, as the phrase suggested, but I'm just not sure about the details leading up to that point. But as I said, like a really interesting sonic blend. It almost reminded me of like, I don't even know their category that well, but I was going to say like the Pretenders or something. Like it had a bit of this like, wistful's the wrong word, but kind of this reflective quality to the sonics, which I get is a very subjective and interpretive thing. But yeah, like I said, it sounded a bit not big city. It sounded a bit like with a country twang to it, especially that guitar that would come in at the end of the measures in the chorus. It just had a bit of twang, a bit of, like country flair to it. So maybe that was a big part of why it gave me a bit of that like frontier type of sound. Either way, I enjoyed her vocals, not doing anything crazy, not belting from the, the mountaintops, but like hitting the lines in a way that I was able to focus on the narrative and yet still appreciate the melody of the vocals themselves. So yeah, a cool tune. Curious to hear what people have to say about this. Thank you once again to Mark and Luca. At this point, I'm just going to subtly see if I can shift you to the chair. And nope, she's off. With a little bit of a complaint. In any case, let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Peace.